Hello, everyone. Welcome to your mat. If you're new to my space, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here. Every Monday, there will be a free yoga class, and this is this week's. So we're going to do a flow. So we're going to do movement style class. If you have blocks, you'll need them for class today. This is a really great prop to have. So if you have a home practice, you're doing these things at home, go out to the store, get a couple of blocks. I like the bigger foam ones as opposed to the cork ones. That's just me personally. I think they have a better feel and they're nice and light. But 2 blocks, these are, I believe, the 3-inch variety. So they are the bigger of the 2 options when you order them. So 2 blocks and head on to your mat. We're going to do a flow style class, and we are going to break things down a little bit more today. So I'm going to go into a little more detail about the pose as we work through them. To begin, we're going to find a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. You can start in a chair, you can sit cross-legged on the floor, you can sit on your heels, whatever feels good in your body today. And then I want you to take a nice big breath in and exhale it out the mouth. Do that 2 more times. Inhale in, exhale out. 1 last time, big breath in, exhale it out. Allow the lips to come together. Allow your shoulders to sink down away from your ears. We're going to begin by inhaling both arms up, reaching up to the sky, almost as if you're gathering air. So it's with intention that we bring our arms up. And as you exhale, slide the hands down in front of your body till your hands come in front. We'll do that again. So inhale, both arms up. Palms come together. Exhale, the hands come down in front of the heart. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, lift. Nice big wide reach up. And exhale, hands come down. Now I will tell you, if you are in a class and there's a lot of people, instead of coming out wide, come forward. So come forward to inhale and then exhale, hands down. Let's do that 2 more times. So we're going to inhale, bring it forward, gathering it in and drawing it down. We'll do it one more time. Inhale, the arms up, gather, bring it in, palms together, hands to heart center. Good. Inhale, both arms up. This time the right arm comes back down, and we're going to take a little stretch to the right. So the right hand comes back down. Think about your hip staying rooted. So I don't want the weight to shift over. I want the hips to stay nice and even, and the lengthening comes through the side body. Inhale the arm up. Exhale, switching sides. Left hand comes down, right arm reaches up and over. Think about a candy cane shape. So I'm reaching up and over as opposed to just collapsing through the body. Lifting up and over, finding length through that side body. Inhale the arm up. Exhale, both arms down. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and come to tabletop position. Grabbing your blocks, go ahead and place the blocks at the front of your mat, so along the short edge of the mat, and come to tabletop position. This is the point where you tuck in your shirt if you need to. Tabletop position. So we're stacking our joints. So we want hips and knees to be stacked and shoulders, elbow, and wrist to be stacked. So that we're stacking the joints for optimal alignment. For our cat-cow, the tailbone lifts, the belly starts to hang down. The chest actually can sink through the shoulders as you lift the chin. So it's opening up the front side of the body. And then we're going to curl the tailbone. So tuck the hips, slowly arching up like a cat, and then tuck the chin. I'm pressing my hands into the floor, so I'm really rounding through that upper back. As you inhale, the tailbone lifts, the belly hangs, the chest sinks through the shoulders, lifting the chin, gazing up. And then exhaling, curling from the hips, rolling up through the spine, tuck the chin, press into the floor so that we're rounding that back. We'll do it one more time. So as we inhale, we're opening up the front side of the body, the hips lift. Gazing up, exhaling, tucking the tailbone, curling the pelvis. Chin reaches toward the chest. And then coming back into tabletop position. Beautiful. We're going to go ahead and take our hands 1 or 2 hand lengths out in front for our down dog. So I like to move my hands 1 or 2 lengths forward, then tuck the toes. You're going to engage your core and you're going to lift your knees off the mat. and then shift your hips up toward the sky and back behind you so that we're working on an inverted V. Let your head be heavy. Feet are about hip distance apart, and we're going to pedal the feet or walk the dog. So you're just going to bend and straighten your legs. This helps to open up the back of the legs. So from the Achilles, the calves, the hamstrings. And so we're thinking about the hips lifting up and back because it's very easy for it to end up being a lot of work for our shoulders. And we're trying to push the hips back so that it's not as much work for the shoulders. Good. And then from here, we're just going to walk our feet forward. We're going to come to the top of the mat and come into a forward fold. Now, when I start with forward folds, I always start with bent knees. I let my chest rest on the thighs because the hamstrings or the back of the thighs are still needing a little bit of work to open up. Take a breath, exhale it out. I want you to nod your head yes and shake your head no. Let the head be heavy. So release the desire to hold the head up. And just close your eyes for breath. You don't need to look at the screen. Just take a breath here. Let your head really be heavy. Deep breath. Good. To come up to standing, bring your hands to your thighs and then slowly come all the way up. We're going to come all the way up to standing. Head comes up last. We'll find our mountain pose. We're going to inhale those arms up. So again, either out to the side or maybe out in front of you. Palms come together and then hands to heart center. We'll inhale the arms up. This time we're going to forward fold. So as the palms come together, we're going to bend the knees and start to hinge at the hips as we slide down into that forward fold. And then you start to straighten your legs a little bit. So inhale and lift. So we're straightening the legs as much as we can, getting a nice stretch in the back of the leg. Spine moves long. So from tailbone to the top of the head, lengthening through the spine. That's halfway up, monkey pose. And then exhale, you fold down into that forward fold again. We're going to grab your blocks if you have them and bring blocks to either side of your feet. Blocks are a great tool in a flow class. So my feet are still about hip distance apart. So I've got about like 2 fists between my feet. We're going to shift our weight into our right foot and step the left foot back, staying high on the ball of the foot as you bend that front knee. This is high lunge or crescent pose. So from here, I want you to think about the right hip pulling back as you straighten the left leg. We're going to either stay on those blocks, so use that for support, or come all the way up to that front thigh. That's your choice. So we want to think about the hips squaring. So that's where the right hip feels like it pulls back so that the left hip can come forward. We don't want to open up to the side. We want to square it up to the front. The other thing that we're going to see a lot of is a bent back leg. Think about someone holding onto that thigh and lifting it up so that we're lengthening through that back leg. That's going to open up the front of the hip. Inhale the arms up if you choose, and then exhale the cactus arms. So for cactus arms, that's like a goalpost. Okay, my arms are coming out to the side, and I'm thinking about the shoulders squeezing back. So I'm broadening the front of the chest. Inhale the arms back up, and then bring your hands down to your blocks. Bend the back knee a little bit and use that momentum to step back up into your forward fold. We're going to inhale all the way up to standing. Sweep the arms up. Hands to heart center. And let's switch sides. So we'll inhale the arms up. As you exhale, bend the knees, hinge at the hips, and forward fold. Find your blocks. Inhale halfway up. So I'm straightening the legs. Spine is nice and long. Exhale into that forward fold. This time the right leg steps back. I'm staying on the ball of the back foot for crescent pose or high lunge. And then I'm going to press up, if you choose, to that front thigh. So again, this time the front hip is going to pull back so that I'm squaring up my hips. Think about that thigh lifting. Pull the belly button toward the spine. Inhale the arms up. Exhale the cactus arms. So again, I've just dropped them down like goalposts, elbows squeezing back, shoulder blades squeezing back. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands come to those blocks, bend the back knee, step up to your forward fold. Beautiful. Exhale deeply into that forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up, engage the core, protect the low back as you sweep the arms up. Palms come together, hands come to heart center. Inhale the arms up. We'll go on to the next pose. Exhale, we're in a forward fold. So a little bend in the knees, hinging forward, find your blocks. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. We're gonna step the left leg back. This time, instead of staying on the ball of the foot, we're gonna drop the heel and rotate the foot just a little bit, like a 45-degree angle. So I'm not opening it up all the way, but I'm opening it up a little bit. And then that same thing, we'll put a little bend in that front knee and sweep the arms up. Warrior one. Warrior one is a really challenging pose. We're dropping that back heel and trying to rotate the hips forward. So right hip pulls back as the left hip comes forward, but trying to keep that back heel on the ground. My toes are out at an angle, like a 45-degree angle. We're gonna inhale those arms up. Exhale, cactus those arms. Again, squeezing shoulder blades together, opening up the front side of the body. Pull the belly button in, so engaging that core so we're not overarching that low back. I'm gonna keep the integrity of that midsection. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands to blocks. Step it up, forward fold. And then inhale all the way up to standing. Sweep the arms. Hands to heart center. Let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway up. Forward fold. Step the right leg back. And we're going to drop that heel so that our back leg is at a little bit of an angle. Pressing up, warrior one. So our body's going to want to open up with the hips. So we're going to try really hard to pull that left hip back. So keep the back leg straight. Now don't lock it out. Make sure that thigh is still engaged to protect the knee. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to cactus arms. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands to blocks. Bend the back knee, step it up, forward fold. Inhale all the way up to standing. Hands to heart center. We're going to take a flow now before we move on to the next pose. So we're going to inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Come halfway up. Take your blocks off the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees until your hands find the floor. And I actually dome my hands a little bit as I step my first leg back. Then I plant my hand and I step the other leg back and I plant. So we're in full plank. So nice and strong. So for full plank, we want to make sure we're not sinking into those shoulders, that there's that same almost rounding sensation that we had in cat-cow. So if I drop my knees for a moment, if I'm still rounding through, nice and strong through that upper back, that's my plank. Okay, so full plank or drop the knees for half planks. Everybody drop for half plank. And then I want you to shift your weight forward a little bit. So we're coming out over those hands a little bit as we lower down. Come all the way down to the ground. Tops of the feet find the floor. Tops of the feet press into the floor. Pelvis presses into the floor. And then as your heart reaches forward and up, you slide your shoulder blades down your back. So the back is actually doing the work in our cobras. Go ahead and exhale to release. Let's do that again. Inhale. Think about your heart coming forward and up, sliding your shoulder blades down your back. Tops of the feet press into the floor. Pelvis presses into the floor. Exhale to release. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Heart comes forward and up. I think about an airplane taking off. Forward and up. Slide your shoulder blades or your shoulders down. Exhale to release. Tuck your toes. Come through tabletop and then back up into your plank. Nice and strong. Beautiful. Now shift your hips up toward the sky and back behind you for down dog. Nod your head yes. Shake your head no. Give your jaw a little wiggle. And then walk your feet forward. Walk them up to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale all the way up to standing. Hands to heart center. Let's try warrior two. So we're going to inhale the hands up. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees, hinge forward, find those blocks. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale into that forward fold. Blocks are on either side of the feet. We're gonna step the left leg back and we're gonna warrior two preps. We're gonna drop the back heel and rotate the back foot so that the pinky toe side of my foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Then I'm gonna windmill my arms up. So I'm opening my whole body up to the left side. I'm gonna toe heel my front foot over a little bit so that my front heel lines up with the arch of my back foot. It's gonna give me the most stability in this pose. And then the arms are reaching in the same directions as the legs. So toward the short end of your mat. My right hand is reaching forward, my left hand is reaching back about shoulder height. The deeper you go into this front lunge, the more challenging the pose. So the wider your stance, the stronger the pose. Now for safety, I want to make sure that the knee is tracking over the toes or toward the pinky toe just a little bit so that it's getting a nice, strong, stable base. This is our warrior two. Deep breath. Spine is long, core gently engaged. Beautiful. We're gonna take our hands, we're gonna windmill our hands around to those blocks. Come to the ball of the back foot, bend the knee and step up to our forward fold. Then we'll inhale all the way up to standing. Hands to heart center. Let's switch sides. We'll inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Halfway up. And fold as you exhale. This time the right leg steps back. Warrior two prep. So I've rotated so that the pinky toe side of my foot is parallel to the back of the mat. And I'm going to windmill my arms up to give me momentum. So there's an external rotation in that front thigh. So I'm opening it up, thinking about opening the body, right? That knee is tracking over those toes. My back foot is fully participating. So I'm not rolling to my pinky toe side. And I'm not lifting my pinky toe. It's full foot pressing into the mat. Soften the shoulders. Sometimes they like to creep up. Soften them down. Think about reaching with your fingertips in both directions. Deep breath. Beautiful. Warrior two. Nice and strong. Think about imagining that the hips could actually open up, moving in two directions. And then we're going to windmill our hands around the blocks, come to the ball of the back foot, bend the knee, and step it up, forward fold. And then all the way up to standing. Hands to heart center. We'll take one more of those flows, okay? So we're going to inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Take your blocks, lift them off of your mat. As you fold, bring your hands down, step back into plank. Full plank, or drop your knees for half plank. Lower all the way down. Your blocks are in the way. Cobra. So tops of the feet find the floor. Lifting the heart forward and up. Exhale to release. Tuck the toes. Come through tabletop or straight into your plank. And then into your down dog. Deep breath here. Big breath in and then exhale out the mouth. Good. Then go ahead and drop the knees down. We're going to come to a seated position. Go ahead and sweep your legs around. We're going to find boat pose. So boat is the place where you can balance between your tailbone and your sit bones. Your sit bones are that bony piece kind of in your glutes. So you're going to find that place somewhere around there where you can begin to balance. Core engaged, chest open, shoulders soft. So I don't want to lose the integrity of my spine in this pose. If that means toes or heels stay on the ground, this is a beautiful boat. I use this one all the time. So my core is engaged, my chest is open, my shoulders are soft. And I'm breathing into that space. So you can stay there, or maybe you lift. Cross your right ankle over your left and come to a cross-legged position. I'm going to rotate just so you can see me, but stay where you are. So my right leg is crossed in front of my left. I'm going to move my feet a little bit away from my body so that my front shin is parallel to the front of the mat. Deep breath in, spine is long, and then just hinge forward, walking your hands forward so you get a nice stretch in the back of the leg or back of the hips. If you need a little more stretch, the right shin will stack on top of the left. But be careful that the knees are still happy. The knees should not feel any pull or stretch or tension in this pose. If they do, come back to the cross-legged position. And just hinge forward, maybe coming all the way down. Maybe forearms find the floor. Deep breath. And then go ahead and walk yourself back up. Lean back, find your boat again. Find the boat that works for you. And then left leg crosses on top this time. Cross-legged position, left leg in front or left leg on top. Deep breath in, nice and tall spine. And then hinging forward. Again, the knees should feel really happy with this. If the knees aren't happy, back out of it. Deep breath. Very nice opening in those hips. And we'll slowly walk back up. We're going to go ahead and unwind those legs. Come all the way to the ground. So lying on our backs. And I want you to take your hips, lift them up and over to the right about an inch and put them back down. And then we're going to bring our knees and ankles to the same height and let the legs fall to the left, taking a twist or a rotation. Arms can be wherever is comfortable. The idea is that we're finding some rotation through the spine. Maybe you gaze up toward the sky. Maybe you gaze over to the right. Taking a couple of deep breaths. And then we'll unwind, lifting with the top leg first. Unwind, come back to center. Find middle. Take a breath. Just feel into the body. And then we'll lift our hips up, shift them over to the left. Ankles come up to the height of the knees. And the legs fall to the right this time. So they float over, and you're always welcome to add props. Or maybe you come a little more onto your side and just allowing that shoulder to kind of sink toward the earth. Let the legs feel supported in this rotation. If your arm doesn't come all the way out, that's okay. Focus on feeling rotation through the spine. Holding for one more breath. And then starting with the top leg, unwind, come back to center, bring hips to center on your mat, and just hug knees in a little bit, but allow the spine to stay long. So I'm not curling up, I'm letting my spine be long and the knees just come in for a little compression. Rocking from side to side. And then taking one leg long, and then the other. Arms out to the side, palms facing up. Maybe shoulders tuck under the body just a little bit more. Close your eyes or allow the gaze to be soft. Big breath in and exhale it out. Letting your whole body sink into stillness. Taking a few moments in our final pose, Shavasana. This is an opportunity for your body to be in a neutral position, to allow the stretching that we did in this class to be integrated into the body. Take one more breath here. And when you're ready, bending the knees, rolling to one side, pressing yourself up. Find a comfortable seat, and whatever that means for you. Allow your spine to be long, shoulders soft. We'll bring hands together in front of heart center. Moment of gratitude. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed class. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comments. And I will see you all next week. Namaste.